Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In this episode, we're continuing our ongoing coverage of the war between the Russian Federation, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and its Ukrainian proxy forces. Now, today we are starting off in what is essentially eastern Ukraine, near the small town of Cherkasky. Now, hopefully, I am pronouncing that right. If I'm pronouncing it incorrect, I apologize. This town is the current training area of the Ukrainian 157th Mechanized Brigade. Now, look, these Series 150 brigades of the Ukrainian military are becoming rather notorious. Now, the Series 150 Brigade project is, for the most part, a North Atlantic Treaty Organization concept project in which they are using NATO contractors to train Ukrainian forces. Now, unlike the 155th Brigade, the 157th Brigade is not outfitted as good, as well as some of these other Ukrainian brigades that have actually trained in the EU and the European Union. Now, this specific brigade was training near this specific town when back on March 1st, it came under Russian ballistic missile attack. We believe the Russians utilize Iskander semi-ballistic missiles armed with cluster munitions. And there are reports that between 30 all the way up to about 150 members of this 157th Mechanized Brigade were killed in this strike, with an additional 90 plus, upwards to well over 100 wounded in that attack. The video footage that you can see of the strike occurred in the training areas just to the east by northeast of the actual basing location where we know the Ukrainian military has staged forces. Now, what's interesting is if we go in and we look at some of the actual pictures and photographs of these Ukrainian soldiers. Now, I've said before, a picture says a lot, and it does. It absolutely does. When you look at the age of the soldier, when you look at the equipment of the soldier, it tells you a lot. So let's jump in and let's look at what we are seeing from this unit that was training to eventually be sent to the Donbass offensive. Now, a lot of these individuals are at this location because they are forced to be there. They do not want to be there. Now, if you look at the equipment, now this is very important. Look at the equipment that this unit is being outfitted with. These are older Soviet AKs. I'm guessing. Well, I don't want to guess. I'm just going to say outright that these actually look like Yugos. I could be wrong on that. I'm no expert on the identification of the various AK platform. I do have a Serb MPAP, but again, by no means an expert. That to me, especially if you look at in this area here, very indicative of what you would see on a Yugo style AK. And in my guess, these are 7.62 by 39s. I could be wrong, but let's continue to look. Again, all older men. Now, there's one picture here that really got my attention. Yeah, here, right here. What is this? So first and foremost, the older guy, fairly overweight, clearly overweight. I mean, The guy needs to lose some weight. In all probability, he's not passing a U.S. Army PT test. I don't know. Maybe he can now. But back when I was in the Army, no way. This guy is not passing, and he's probably getting chaptered out. This was back in the 90s. He's getting chaptered out via the Fat Boy program. Can you still say that? I wasn't supposed to say Fat Boy program. All right. Well, he's an overweight soldier. Now, what's interesting is the American flag right there on his helmet. Now, is this an American? Is this a former U.S. NCO that is training the Ukrainians, or is just this a fanboy and he's got the American flag on there? I don't know. Difficult to say. But what we do know is that during this strike, there's a better shot of the AKs they're being issued. Again, clearly, these are everyone in this picture is an older guy. And back to the map. The training area that was attacked. Again, the Russians were monitoring this area with Orlan drones. They identified groups of soldiers that were encamped in some of these areas conducting training, and they were troops in the open. It was a valid target, and the Russians again utilized Iskanders with cluster munitions to attack those soldiers in these encamped in these training areas, and caused at least 30 KIA. The reports that I'm getting and I'm hearing is at the very, very least was about 30 to 40 KIA, with the possibility going up to as many as 100 to 50. And my point being, I've talked about this Russian Iron Rain for some time, and it is continuing. It is ongoing. Most of the successful strikes that the Russians have made against the Ukrainian forces aren't reported about. You hear about a strike hitting a quote-unquote warehouse or a quote-unquote abandoned building, which injures a quote-unquote janitorial staff or something along those lines. But what they're not reporting is the military fatalities that are taking place when the Russians strike those areas. Okay? And the Russians have been doing this for quite some time. It's really picked up in the last couple of months as the Ukrainians start to run out of air defense missile systems. With that being said, it's now being reported with the cutoff of U.S. aid to the Ukrainians that Ukraine could be completely out of air defense missiles within a matter of days in terms of their capability of especially defending high-value targets near Kiev and some other large cities or very valuable military infrastructure targets that the U.S. has given the Ukrainians in terms of capability to defend, i.e. the Patriot, the NASAMS, what have you. But that aid has been cut off, and the Iron Rain has continued and is not going to stop over the course of the winter. And this latest strike that you observed and is now being reported on the 157th Brigade is going to be repeated time and time again against Ukrainian forces. But that's the report for today. As always, thank you for joining us. More to come very soon. Good day.